This is Matt Ritzema. This is module number 6 for human development. First question, how does research on life conditions that accelerate telomere shortening illustrate the joint influence of heredity and environment on biological aging? First, we have to understand what telomeres are. When cells in the body are made, they are made of chromosomes, and at the end of the chromosome is the telomere. Chromosomes and the telomeres are made up of a person's DNA. The telomeres are the DNA at the end of the chromosome, which protect the chromosome. When cells duplicate, the telomere shorten and can be damaged, causing the cell it is protecting to die. There is a list of reasons that telomeres that researchers have identified that cause telomeres to shorten. Some of these reasons are because of actions that a person has taken, and some are because of a person's genetic makeup. Research has shown that cigarette smoking, excessive alcohol use, physical inactivity, and overeating are some of the reasons the telomere shorten. These are behaviors that an individual can change and stop the shortening of the telomeres. Other actions which cause shortening of the telomeres is persistent emotional stress. Sometimes subjects in these situations can remove or receive help to improve their stress level, while others cannot. A factor in which the individual person cannot control, but the parents can, would be when the child is born with a low birth weight. The low birth weight could be due to an insufficient diet from the mother or from constant stressors. Ultimately, if a person engages in unhealthy behaviors, their telomeres will shorten, thus aging the person and shortening their lives. If a person takes corrective steps, the telomeres will respond accordingly. The telomeres can lengthen. In cases where the telomeres are shortened due to heredity, there is continuing research on how this may be corrected through medical procedures. Development in medication treatments may stop or slow the shortening of the telomeres. These types of procedures are constantly developing. Question number 2. Why are people in committed relationships likely to be more sexually active and satisfied than those who are dating several partners? There have been stereotypes which have been portrayed in all different types of media and social circles that people who are involved in a committed relationship have dull, underwhelming sex lives. The single person who may be dating a different person every night tends to have an adventurous sexual encounters and is having their sexual impulses met. Research of those in committed relationships report that 88% of married couples and 80% of those in a committed relationship are satisfied with their sex lives. This research has shown that the higher number of sexual partners for single individuals, the lower the sexual gratification. There are some reasons which have been linked to why generalized stereotypes are incorrect. When people report that they are sexually satisfied, it is usually because the people involved in the sexual experience are also feeling loved, are in good mental health, and are feeling good about their life in general. On the other hand, when people report that they are not feeling sexually satisfied, there can be numerous reasons for this. It could be that the person suffers from some sort of sexual dysfunction. These dysfunctions can be that they are unable to achieve an orgasm, unable to achieve an erection in males, lack of interest, climaxing too early, or feeling the stress of performing well for the other partner. These dysfunctions can be caused due to some sort of abuse at an earlier age, stress level of the individual, drug usage, chronic illness, or some sort of mental health issues. Question number 3. How does expertise affect information processing? Why is expertise necessary for but not the same as creativity? When a person is interested in a certain topic, in the case of a person going to college or a trade school, they seek to become more educated on a specific topic. The person wants to acquire extensive knowledge on that specific topic, causing them to be an expert on the subject matter once they have studied the topic in depth for a length of time. When a person becomes an expert in a specific topic or subject, how they process information is different than others. The person who becomes the expert in a topic will look at a problem, quote, beneath the surface, unquote, by thinking more abstractly at the situation rather than a person who is new to the problem. The expert will be able to think more quickly about the more common concepts related to the problem, then will plan, analyze, categorize, and ultimately choose the best solution from the possible options. The person who has little knowledge about a concept will tend to look at a problem and try to solve it simply. Expertise in a subject is necessary for creativity, but is not the same as creativity. Creativity is defined by the Cambridge Dictionary as the ability to produce or use original or unusual ideas. Expertise is needed in a subject to be creative in a subject because a knowledge of what has been asked or tried before allows one to form a new, meaningful response to a problem. Depending upon what area a subject develops their expertise in, some do not need as much training to become creative. Subjects who become experts in academic field or science will need years of research and academic learning before their creative achievements will be acknowledged. Whereas a subject who becomes an expert in the arts may have their creativity accepted and looked upon with respect within a short amount of time. When a person develops their expertise in a field of academics or science, there is a, quote, 10-year rule, unquote, in development of their creativity. It should be noted that not all experts are creative. In order for an expert to be creative, they must be able to think abstractly and not just in, quote, black and white, unquote. They must also be persistent for success and have to be willing to try new ideas when their initial idea does not work. Next question. The student and college environment characteristics contribute to favorable psychological changes during the college years. Many young adults who graduate high school go on to continue their education in college. These young adults do this for various reasons, but mostly to better educate themselves in one particular field of study which will help them succeed in their chosen profession. If students do not have a favorable experience while enrolled in college, it increases their chances of dropping out. The factors which contribute to a negative experience in college can be lack of motivation, bad study skills, financial pressures, or emotional dependence on parents or family. Student and college environment factors which contribute to a favorable psychological change are many. How do students enrolled in college think and process their thoughts can assist with the changes. Students become better at reasoning through problems, identifying opposing views, and identifying the pros and cons of each side. And they also have the ability to reflect on their own thoughts. Students in the college environment can expand their knowledge technically about certain topics as well as global issues. The students will also be exposed to different races and ethnicities than what they have been to this point in their lives. The factors which have been listed will be positive as long as the student feels that they are engaged personally through academics and the experiences they have outside the classroom. If the students are interactive with faculty and staff, they will benefit. They will benefit through different ways of thinking compared to what they have been used to throughout their lives to this point. The college experience allows more interactions with peers and instructors, which expand their knowledge and backgrounds to different perspectives. Next question. What cultural changes have led to the emergence of the period known as emerging adulthood? Emerging adulthood is the transitional period which extends from the late teens to the mid to late 20s. This period has become more prevalent in recent years due to young adults changing their priorities in lives on what is important for them at the time. Societal viewpoints have also changed, which condone young adults to pursue their life pursuits at a younger age than what has been so in the past. The transition for many years was that young adults would attend high school, graduate, then proceed into adulthood by gaining employment. Now many young adults, after graduating high school and possibly college, continue to explore the world around them with the support of their parents. These young adults may engage in more identity development, more worldly views by exploration, engage in civic or political commitments, or exploring their own religion or spirituality. Recent cultural changes have led to the appearance of emerging adulthood. Many entry-level positions require more education than in the past. An illustration of this is that most mid to high-paying professions require a bachelor's, master's, or doctorate degree. Young adults who have only a high school or less education are left with nothing but low-paying jobs. From my own experience, my associate's degree I received just over 20 years ago was good for the time, but now most people in my field of work have bachelor's degrees or higher. Another change which explains the recent appearance of emerging adulthood is industrialized nations with older workforces who do not need the young people to fill the jobs. This allows for the young adults to explore themselves if they can financially support it. As mentioned earlier, emerging adulthood is more common in industrialized nations. This is because countries who are still developing are usually not financially able to support themselves without the assistance of the young adults entering the workforce as soon as they can. Final question. According to Levinson, how do the life structures of men and women differ? Daniel Levinson was a psychologist who conducted research and theory on the developmental stages of adulthood. Levinson developed a transition stage in adult lives called the life structure. The life structure is a design of a person's life which deals with an individual's relationships with different people and institutions. Levinson differentiated between men and women after interviewing them. Levinson stated that men had an image of, quote, the dream, unquote, while women had an image of a, quote, split dream, unquote. Males' image of the dream consisted of what they wanted their career path to look like and where they would be at the middle of their lives. Women's split dream was their vision of having a career as well as a family at the same time and how they could manage both. Levinson's theory stated that men were driven by high-status careers and developed professional skills, values, and resumes while in their 20s. Women usually took longer to develop their career. This usually lasted into women's 30s. There was a second transition in Levinson's theory, which usually occurred when subjects entered their 30s. This transition caused men and women to focus on personal relationships for the possibility of developing a family. Levinson did discover that in women who had concentrated on family life early were now emphasizing their own goals, possibly of career development. After this transition was complete, men usually focused on their personal relationships and aspirations relative to their values.